right, it's 10 o'clock. We'll call the Sawyer County Administrative meeting to order and ask the clerk to call a roll, please.
Ron Kinsley,
Yes.
Ron Buckholz.
Here.
Tom Duffy, John Righeimer,
Here.
Stacy Hessel. You have a quorum?
Thank you. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item is certification compliance open meeting laws.
This meeting was noticed to the news media and the public as required by section 19.84 of Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Number 5, the meeting agenda is set. Number 6, public comments. Ms. Linda Zilmer, please.
Morning, Linda Zilmer, Edgewater property owner, and my public comment today is a request of some discussion when you get to the one of the last agenda items on the county administrator and department head succession policy. And it has to do with the potential of an interim county administrator. And in the draft that you have today, there's a temporary short-term absence, a temporary long-term absence, and then a permanent absence. And so good old AI, I don't know how I shut this off on my phone, but what I'm reading is a permanent one. A permanent absence may be to an employee's indefinite or long-term absence from work, potentially due to a permanent health condition, resignation, or termination requiring the employer to address the vacancy and potentially implement a leave of absence policy. So again, I'm sorry, but that's what I can't seem to get past that this morning. But my question is the language in there for the permanent absence says that a special provision is that it would be it's to bring in somebody from outside the organization, but the way they're brought in is based on the recommendation of internal candidates for the position. So I'm hoping you will discuss why you would have internal candidates for the county administrator be the ones guiding who the outside candidate would be, and then would that also preclude an interim county administrator from being successful and trying to become the eventual successful candidate? Thank you.
Thank you. You said there's nobody online. No handle. Yeah. Number 7, consider approval of the minutes. There's 2 draft minutes. One's from March 13th, 25. We'll take that one first.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Duffy, second by Mr. Righeimer to approve the March 13th meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Thank you. And we had the meeting on March 27th.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Buckle, second by Mr. Duffy to approve as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 8, county clerk report. Liz, please.
Next request is working out pretty well. We're staying on top of all of these. A lot of these come in and they get filled and closed, so there's nothing really outstanding. Desiree's doing a really good job for the sheriff's department. Our internal requests, we just have a few records requests right now. A new one for the Lake District came in that we're working on. It's not a money-making thing, but we are able to track all of the statistics here. So it's so far so good on that program. And
Is there anything on the program that you can see for improvement or anything, or?
well, I've had some staff members reach out to me about using it. So Julia Lyons would like to sit down and go over it. So we might want to have some kind of a administrative discussion again. I know Lynn did that in the beginning and not with department heads.
Okay.
So we might want to do that again and take a look at that, or individually so they can sit down with me. We can run through it or watch a webinar together, something like that.
Maybe keep Mike in the loop in case you need him.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then, March, we had 163 dog licenses, or February, no, March, 8 marriage licenses, 15 plat books, and we're also working on Act 235. For us, we may have to redact the plat books on hand if we get a judicial request, and we're not sure how to do that yet. And then, looking forward, if judges are involved in elections and they ask for their address removed, that's going to change with the requirements on the nomination papers and things like that, but WEC is working on that. So we might get an order from WEC to be able to, it's just like new guidance, how to work on that. So we're looking at that. And the election MOUs will be updated with municipal clerks. We had a great election. The clerks did really well, and we're having good conversations. So we're moving toward a good relationship there, to get them a little more independent.
Now you can have another meeting with them in a short period of time.
Yeah, they're all excited because there's no more elections this year, and this was a tough one, so they want to break. They're picking up machines right now in my office, and they're all saying July is like with their target date for the next discussion. So I think that's what we'll work toward.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Moving on, number 9, Veteran Center, Mr. Gary Elliott.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So for March, the Veteran Service Office received 456 phone calls, 677 letters, emails, and faxes went out, and 216 office visits. Workload perspective compared to 24 was 407, 461, and 191 respectively. So we maintain, we're still busy. We're not slowing down. For disability compensation and pension claims, we submitted 41 disability claims to date, and we received retroactive payment of a little over $93,000 for claims decided in the veterans' favor. And again, there's another comparison. That's not much of a comparison because it all depends on the situation, what kind of a claim it was, how high it come back in, how long it was sitting out there. So the amount of claims kind of shows, as far as what we're doing with the benefits administration, the amount of money is going to fluctuate based on the severity. So the La Crosse Vet Center, we continue to co-manage and host counseling for our veterans. We had 4 individual counseling sessions and two group counseling sessions last month. And then outreach, we continue with the coffee and conversation with Gary and Renee. And Nicole, my God, help me. And social media, that's unforgivable, by the way. Social media, we had 178 followers. So we went up 7 for that, 256 visits and 291 content interactions, but the 9,100 views. So, and the views, is the definition of that is the number of times your content was played or displayed. That's pretty impressive, to be honest with you, for our website, for our Facebook page. So, our training's up to date. Next month, Nicole and I will be going to training, the 5th through the 9th in Superior. It's annual training that we have to do. At least once a year. And so we'll be out of office. We're just going to close the office down for that week. And then the following Monday, there's training in Minneapolis, and I'm sitting the fence. It's for the Veterans Health Administration. I haven't decided yes or no. I guess I want to go back and look at what they're planning on, talking about and whether we need to go down there or not. So it might be 6 days out of office, and then we'll come back and pay for it.
Pay for it.
So anyway, that is all I have, unless you have any questions.
As always, Gary, thanks for what you and Nicole do for our veterans. We appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. Number 10, information acknowledged.
So we completed a few larger projects last month. For the tourist rooming house that's being done by Human Services and Zoning, we did kind of our part to get that up and running. The data is visible in Novus now, so they can enter their data there in our land records system. For online permits, we finally got that into production. I don't know if John mentioned anything about it yesterday at Public Works, but he's issuing online permits now, especially like the road ban one, so that should help streamline their process. Then we had a new phone circuit come in. Hopefully nobody noticed any differences at all. It's just that it's going to be about half the price or less going forward. So they kind of push that because it helps them get rid of their old copper circuits and going to fiber. So that went well. It took over a year to finally get it to work, but it's done now. Other than that, a few other things we're working on, but I'll just open it to questions if there are any.
Thank you for all you do over there
Sure.
and
Thank
your
you.
helper. Number 11, Human Resource Report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have my report. The only things I have to add is this morning I made an offer for a driver operator out at Highway. So once we get that person situated, we'll be full staff. They also have 2 people out on non-work related medical leaves. But I got a phone call from one of them today and he'll be returning April 21st. So I'm sure John will be happy to get his whole crew back. We filled the youth diversion truancy position, and that person is going to start in June. We have a child support person starting in June, so we're doing pretty good. We're pretty full staffed.
Good. You're doing good work over there.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for Rose?
You need women jailers, how are we doing with that?
We're good. We don't talk about it, but we're good over there. We have all we need. We don't want to bring any, we don't want to bring any attention, have any other county come and look at our jailers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Number
you.
12, County Strategy Plan. Mr. Alvarado.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that on there. Kind of had rolled that out. Probably maybe shouldn't have rolled it out at the time, given my departure. So I've asked, just I want to let you know, I've told Ariga that just to not put the brakes on it completely, but we hit the pause button so you have time to go through or start the hiring process for the next administrator so they can be involved with that. We did put together I had mentioned that a good thing for the board to do right now is to basically educate themselves or gather as much background on what's happening in the county as you go into the strategic plan. That'll help you develop some priorities. So I think IT is putting together, I gave them a list of, what is this? A dozen different information sources as far as like your comp plan, outdoor rec plan, land water plan, community health improvement plan, which has just been updated. HHS committee saw that. Your workforce profile, aging plan, all those things are already available for you to gather background. That'll help you. And then at next week's board meeting, we have Dale Knapp from Ford Analytics going to give you a presentation that'll give you more, actually more current information on the demographics, what's, basically the aging population that you're going to see, the unaffordability of housing in the county, some things like that. So that'll help you as you prepare the strategic plan. But otherwise, we're pushing back that timeline that I had talked about to get the next administrator involved with the Riga and doing that.
Good. Number 13, County Administrators Report.
All right. So yeah, just trying to wrap up a bunch of stuff. Got the tax, you'll see the amendment to the county code at the board meeting next week. That's to implement the act changes in the state statute regarding the tax deed process. So it's the administration and management of tax deed lands. We've gone over this. It's Act 207 and 216. It's going to speed up the timeline in the ordinance from what the county has been doing. Instead of having a 5-year tax certificate process, you go to most likely 3 years. The committee and the treasurer are to be a little more expedient on that. And then once the property is taken, we have timelines to fulfill it for how long. We have to advertise it. And then when it's sold, any proceeds above back taxes, penalties, administration costs, expenses incurred by the county have to be returned to the prior property owner. So that's all a result of the change in state statute. I've mentioned last month the class action lawsuit relating to that. All that was a result of a court case in Minnesota. So a number of states and counties are changing how they approach tax deeds. But the lawyers are filing class action lawsuits in these states, trying to recover funds from sales prior to the lawsuit, prior to the Minnesota court case. So that's been turned over. All the counties have turned that over to the insurance companies as part of your liability coverage. So they'll be handling those jointly. Public records request, I did respond to the Government Operations Accountability and Transparency Committee at this Wisconsin Assembly. They had asked for DEI related information to do with any positions we have, training that we put towards DEI. It's diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. So we treated it as an open records request, went through any job duties, policies, and we have none. So you can be aware of that. The only piece that we're still looking through is any grants that we've received that have those words in it. And there are potentially a couple in the human services area, but most likely those are going to be state grants. So we'll be passing those along as we continue to look for those words. Also, some open records requests now related to the Callahan Mud Lake district. One is regarding the district itself, and the other was a request specifically to the dam. Anything that we have relating to the construction, permitting, inspections of the dam. So we had to look through some records for that. Just want to make you aware of that. Amongst the other regular open records requests, those are kind of the noteworthy ones. We're putting the paperwork together still on the Lake District formation to provide to the petitioners and to the town of Round Lake, so they have all of that. And then the staff has also been working on Act 235, implementing that. That went into effect April 1st. That's the judge shielding law. So any public facing information that might disclose a judge's address or property ownership, upon their request, we have to shield and make sure it's retained as confidential information. So airport, the construction project out there is scheduled to start May 5th. That'll shut down the airport for a month at least. So we did have a pre-construction meeting and everything is, seems like it's scheduled to move ahead on that. We anticipate road bans are going to be off within 2 weeks. That was we couldn't start the project until road bans were going to be off. So we've got a tentative starting date for that. Nothing really new on the ambulance front. We still have a number of issues there we're working on. Nothing new on broadband. Have not received a response yet on the CJCC MOU, just that they are going to be considering it at the governing board, but have not received a timeline. We did get notice, and I think Mr. Buckholz on helping move this forward, as well as Police Chief, LCO Police Chief Taylor, that we got tentative approval to use the WOJB tower for the public safety radio system. The details are still need to be worked out as far as an agreement, and there probably will be some cost with that, but at least it's green lighted to continue to move ahead. CJCC at the board meeting next week, you're going to see the requests for opioid funds for 2025, as well as there's a report attached on how the opioid funds have been used to date. That primarily has been worked on by HHS. They've done a good job of using other funds than the opioid funds, some grants from the state, but things are progressing with their kind of getting away from the awareness and campaign to more of the recovery and treatment types of issues. So that's been positive. There's a lot going on at CJCC. So this week we talked about some structural changes as far as forming an executive committee to help steer the group there, as well as some work groups in the future, just because of the amount of work and grant funding that's flowing through there to kind of manage it a little bit better. Other noteworthy things, primarily most of our remodeling projects that we had on the schedule are completed. The clerk's office had a little work done. DA's office, Justice Point, Child Support. Clerk of Courts actually reduced their project, so that gets us complete. There's nothing major on the table anymore. So thanks to Maintenance Department, we're very fortunate that we can do a lot of that work in-house and not have to bring in outside contractors for that. It keeps the cost manageable. We talked about Public Safety Network at the finance meeting. That's moving ahead. Carbon credits, I provided a report from Anu to Land Water. We're at, I think it's step 9 in the process, but they're, right now it's at the third-party reviewer. They expect that to be done in May, and then it'll go to the American Carbon Registry over the summer. So they're hopeful at third quarter. They are marketing the credits already, although we don't have a verified number of credits. But they're hoping in the third quarter that they could start making or start really pursuing sales. The question at Land Water was, is that money already in the budget? And it's not in the budget. And, just based on the timeline of some of the other counties, I wouldn't even budget it in for 2026. Potentially, I would wait till you have sales coming in and then look at 27 to actually start talking about how you want to use those funds. They don't, Bayfield Iron have received funds, but they're not, it's not like they're getting a check every month. There's a sale every few months and they get a little bit of money. So that's moving ahead, but just a little bit slower. Just a reminder that the Joint Finance Committee will be here on April 28th. We would discuss this at our department heads meeting, and I encourage departments to take time to go down there. If not, just to sit in and see how that works if they have never been to a Joint Finance Committee hearing before. It's interesting to hear the requests that come to the committee, but also if we have departments that are reliant on state funding. I know Mr. Pino for the Highway Department is planning to make an appearance there. That's one of the priorities for the Counties Association was the TRIP funding and the LRIP and the RTA dollars. So it's nice to have them in town here. I think otherwise, just wrapping things up, I asked department heads to put together what call a turnover file. So kind of like the annual reports that we had them do for the committee members, to put that together, but also put together a kind of a list of current issues, priorities, things happening in the departments that I can put in a binder for the next administrator. I'll attach a cover sheet with any comments I have just to help with the transition. I have one of those that I've received for my next position in Chippewa County. It's the biggest binder I've ever seen, but it's been helpful. I can read that at night and kind of know what when I hit my first day there, I'll know what's going on. So I thought that would be a good thing to do here as well. The only thing I was going to mention, kind of an interesting call last month from a township across one of our borders asking if they could join Sawyer County. They were unhappy with, I'll just tell you, it's Town of Barnes. It was on their agenda to remove themselves from Bayfield County, and they want to become part of Sawyer County. And they asked me if we'd be willing to take them. And I said, this is a first for me. I don't even know if we can do that. Yeah, I think it was on their agenda, next to Sawyer County. So I didn't hear, that meeting's happened. I didn't hear how that conversation went. I said, it's beyond me to tell you if you will join. And part of their issue is, ironically, I thought that they are unhappy with Bayfield County zoning. They feel that the southern part of Bayfield County is not treated fairly by the zoning. And so they had heard that Sawyer County zoning was a way better situation. So
That seems like a compliment to our zoning then.
I took it as one.
I do too.
I've not called Mark Abels Allison up there and started negotiating, but if that comes up, that they did call and ask first. So I didn't tell them no, but we do some things with Town of Barnes, like primarily ambulance service where they're backup. There are things like, on a serious note, there are things like ambulance service where it's probably going to start making sense to reach across borders for ambulance services because those are more based on geography than where the county line is. And I asked Mr. Fremmel to keep an eye on, there are some bills in the legislature right now dealing with regional ambulance services, ones that aren't tied to geography, because it's happening in, I know Eau Claire, I saw on the news where they're watching that bill because their city ambulance service paramedics are being asked to take in more of the towns and go across their county borders because of just the rural ambulance services are struggling so much.
So would that be something for the court council to see if we could take Barnes into the county or
I don't know
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I didn't want to start investigating it because I think it's pretty far fetched, to be honest with you, but
I think their tax basis.
yeah. Yeah, I looked it up to see how much tax base it would, it'd be our fourth largest. If they, you get beyond, Town of Hayward, Round Lake, Bass Lake, it kind of slides in there as far as valuation wise.
Then we can take UP after that.
Bayfield might let us go all the way up to Highway 2. But, so.
Questions for him?
Nice comment.
Yep.
14, county administrator, and department head discussion policy plan that we.
Well, in the course of this transition, the chair and I have, talked, I've, offered up whatever support, but primarily wanted to stay out of that discussion. But I did offer up that there are counties that have these types of policies on the books. I'll just tell you, I borrowed this one right from Chippewa County because I asked them what they were doing. And they said, hey, we have this policy we followed. So I did adapt it, a fair amount of it, to Starr County because their policy, they have corp counsel heavily involved. They have 3 in-house corp counsels. So corp counsel is a lot of the temporary, they're a part of that. So I adjusted it for the staffing model you have here. And honestly, a lot of it is kind of putting into writing what normally happens anyway, as far as who pitches in to cover vacancies, and especially in the department head area. Some of this is just about when the department head is, let's just say off for a week fishing in Canada, who's in charge. So they should have succession plans or in their own office. And then who's responsible, like for the county administrator, in the county administrator's absence, who addresses those primary work areas. And that's kind of what happens naturally anyway. But then it also gives you options for short-term, long-term absences, whether it's a joint staffing or joint acting or interim. The interim for longer term, there are some counties that might leave a position vacant for 6 months to fill it. You're on a much shorter timeline, but then they might hire an outside administrator to come in and fill things in if they think it's going to be a long period of time. John Hockemer, who's one of your recruiters through PA, that's usually every year he's filling in for a few months at a county on a contract basis. Your timeline is expected to be shorter than that. But this is just something that provided to the chair as a potential policy on the books to guide you. It includes also the recruitment for an interim or for a county administrator, and you're essentially following that already anyway. So that's where it's from.
It sounds like it just would make, just memorializing kind of what we're already doing.
Yeah,
It would make good sense just to kind of put it down on paper.
It would help guide,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not all gonna be here forever, and this maybe the next time it doesn't happen for 20 years. And if that was to happen, they need a guide to how to go
Yeah.
through it. And
Yeah.
that's how I looked at it.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve it.
I would say pass it on to the full board.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll second to pass it on to the full board.
So we have a motion by Mr. Righeimer, second by Ms. Hessel to approve and forward to the full board. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I think it's a good idea and I appreciate that. And I appreciate Andy for showing it to me and bringing it up to speed for Sawyer County. Number 15, update the county administrator recruiting. Go into closed session. Consider motion to convene a closed session motion pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851C. Consider employment, promotion, comprehension, and performance evaluation data for any public employee over the government body as jurisdiction or existing responsibility. And E, deliberate, negotiate the purchase or public properties, the investment of funds conducted in the specific public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. To wit, the purpose of consider appointment and compensation for the interim county administrator.
Also. Second.
Motion by Mr. Duffy, second by Mr. Buckles to go into closed session. Roll call vote, please.
Ron Kinsley,
Yes.
Ron Buckholz,
Yes.
Tom Duffy, John Regheimer,
Yes.
Stacy Hessel.
Okay, we're back in open session. We've communicated regarding how we're going to handle the internship.
Chair, I make a motion to approve hiring Mike Markren and Rose Lillyroot as joint administrative position with an interim position starting April 25th with the pay at $50 per hour when they're doing administrative duties.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
So we have a motion by Ms. Hessel, second by Mr. Buckles to approve the joint internship of Mike Markern and Rose Lillyroot compensated at $50 an hour.
I just, for discussion purposes, I believe Mr. Alvarado will be sending those duties out to all of the chairs. I mean, I'm sorry, all of
Department
the
heads.
department heads. Thank you.
Anything else for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries and it goes to the full board on Tuesday night. Thank you. Number 16, Board Appointment Committee update. Under the Board Appointment Committee update, need to look at your calendar. We need to set up a special meeting for administrative for the exit interview of Mr. Alvarado. So his last day is the 24th, so pretty good chance we want to make it before that date. And we cannot use this Friday or Monday. We cannot use this Friday or Monday. You'll be out of town.
Yes.
Correct. So anybody, Andy, let's start with you. What works for you?
Pretty much any of those days are gonna be fine. I mean, any day to the 24th after, starting Tuesday to the 15th to the 24th are all good days for me.
But the county is not open on the 18th, Good Friday, or are you?
We are not.
How about next Thursday?
17th?
The county board meets on Tuesday. Should we meet Thursday at 10 o'clock?
What time?
10? We can do that.
Because I have a transit meeting on the 17th at 1.
The
Good day.
17th is
That'll work good. Yep. So
Okay.
11.
11 o'clock on Thursday, the 17th.
7.
Will the agenda just be for the
Um,
exit interview?
Yeah. Call the meeting to order, roll call and exit interview. I don't know, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, there's closed session. I'll give her the language for it.
Okay, yeah, thank you for saying that, because I was thinking about it. All right, anybody else have anything for board appointment committees?
I
Update?
just got one thing.
Yep.
I'm on the board of the Northern Waters Library Service. And I had the new director of Northern Waters report to the economic development. Give a report, did she do that? I didn't.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I mean, it comes better from her than it would come from me. So she said she would be fine with doing that. I just. Yeah, she did. Okay, all right.
Correspondence reports, conferences, and meetings. Future agenda items. On the future agenda items will be stated with the administrators. Information that as it comes forward for us to continue to complete our task of getting a new administrator in here. And if anybody has something that they want to get on the agenda, please contact me. I'll certainly try to get it on the agenda so we can all have a chance to have a shot at it.
Chair, under the Veteran Service Office, can we add the Veterans Tribute? Not park, but just a discussion on the,
Oh, yeah.
we've left that off.
We shouldn't have, but we did, yes.
Nope, that's okay.
Thank you for saying so. All right. Meeting,
How do you want that word? Where did veterans tribute? The wording is important, right?
yes, it is.
Under the discussion for Veterans
Memorial.
Tribute, whatever you want. I think it gets thrown around in a lot of different areas, but we've had discussions at the coffee and conversation at the vet center, or at the Veterans Service Office, at the veterans. A lot more input from the veterans, so I'm sure Gary could share that better than I could.
We should ask them about today. They're gonna go for training. Are they still gonna have their coffee on Wednesday? All right, everybody else have anything else? Hearing none, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you for your valuable time.